5 ways to build your followers and increase your influence. Being a big influencer means being an online celebrity. It means having a platform and a brand that lets people follow what you have to say. And it means being able to generate huge amounts of traction for pretty much anything you post. You'll open up incredible new opportunities too. From being invited to give interviews to being approached to write books by big-name publishers. It's certainly a great thing to aspire to, but it can take time and effort to get to the top. If you're at the start of your journey now, then listen up. We're going to share 5 tips that will help you get to that endpoint all the faster. 1. Work with big influencers. The best growth hack for influencers is to find other big influencers to work with. This way, you not only gain free exposure to their audience, but also endorsement from names that people in the niche already trust. This is massive. 2. Make a name in existing communities. Another tip that is less well known is to make a name for yourself in other communities. No matter what niche you choose, there is most likely a forum somewhere filled with people who are fascinated by that topic. If you can find that forum, post extremely regularly, and demonstrate your generosity and broad knowledge, then people will trust you and want you to succeed. 3. Write a book. I mentioned that becoming an influencer could lead to publishing deals, but this also works the other way around. If you have something to say, get an agent and seek out a publisher. A book will give you huge exposure and massive credibility. Just look at Tim Ferriss. 4. Get qualified. Another strategy is to get qualified. That means becoming an expert in your chosen field, which will immediately mean that people take you more seriously. You'll find that people are more likely to listen to your advice, and that other brands and creators are happy to endorse you and to recommend your advice. 5. Get media coverage. Another excellent strategy for getting your name out there is to look for media coverage. You can do this by doing something noteworthy that the media would want to share with its readers. That can amount to publicity stunts, but it can also mean giving interviews to share your vision and mission. How to find great topics to blog and post about as an influencer. If you want to be a successful influencer, then you need to provide value to your audience. To do that, you need to post regularly about topics that interest them, and that provide some kind of value. This is easier said than done. How do you come up with great new ideas for blog posts, or pictures with tips underneath, or YouTube videos? How do you do this every day of the week for years and years to come? Without becoming derivative, dull, or repetitive, here are some tips that can help. Write ideas down. You will have days when you are extremely inspired and days when you extremely are not. A key tip is to write down your best ideas as they come to you, so that you can later read them back. Keep a Wunderlist or similar online list and update it continuously. Read. One of the most important ways to come up with new ideas is to read around the topic that you are operating in. That means reading books and established texts, but also reading the news and ideas from competitor sites. Let all that information jumble around inside your brain and then regurgitate it as something new. See what's trending. Often the most successful content is content that is trending, or that in some way speaks to the zeitgeist in your niche. To find these kinds of ideas, you can use tools like BuzzSumo. This will show you the most popular posts in any given niche, which will in turn give you ideas for things to write about. You can even bounce off popular news posts with your own take or response. Another way to do this is look at Google Trends. Here you can see how search data changes over time in order to see what's increasingly on people's minds and what is not. Choose your niche well. The other crucial thing to do is to ensure that you choose your niche well to begin with. That means that you should know and love the topic you're working in, which will make it much easier to keep coming up with new ideas. Repost. When you're really stuck, don't be afraid to occasionally repost or recycle old content. You can do this by posting an old image on Instagram, Throwback Thursday, or by sharing older posts from your blog to social media again. How to choose your niche as an influencer. If you plan on becoming an influencer, then you first need to do some strategy and think carefully about how you're going to plan your attack. And you really should think carefully. That's because the decisions that you make now, before you first get started as an influencer, will do more to shape your future success or failure than anything you do subsequently. In particular, you need to think hard about your niche. In this presentation, I'll guide you through the process. The first and most important thing to consider when choosing your niche is whether it is something you know well and feel passionately about. It's tempting as a marketer to look at the current biggest niches and the ones that traditionally earn the money, then to pick the one that appeals most to you from there. But this is a mistake. Firstly, it is a mistake because a lack of real passion for the topic will come across as you write and post. Moreover, it's a mistake because you won't have anything new and interesting to contribute. Think about it. Who reads fitness content? People who like fitness. That means they probably know a bit about fitness. And if you're providing the most generic, surface-level content imaginable, then they're going to go elsewhere. To be a thought leader, you need to lead. And that means you need to stick with what you know. That isn't to say you should shy away from niches with a large appeal. Of course, having a bigger potential audience is a good thing. So try to pick a subject that is universal, like sex, money, health, etc. The problem is that doing this can also leave you as a small fish in a massive pond. How will you compete with the huge health brands like Men's Health, or the established money influencers like Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com? The answer is try to be more specific and to hone in on the exact niche that really interests you and that speaks to your audience. This might mean something like health for seniors, for example, or making money online for students. Another option is to combine two popular niches in a unique and interesting way. Either way, doing this will shrink your audience, but also help you to engage much more strongly with that audience once you find them.